ongoing paradoxes of life, right? Everything is a paradox because on the spectrum of consciousness, here we have duality. We have contrast, dark, light, good, bad, right, wrong. On the spectrum of consciousness, however, there is no duality. Everything exists on the same spectrum. So two truths can be on opposing ends of the spectrum and still be both true, be paradoxes, because it's all one spectrum of consciousness. Now, granted, in the larger spectrum of consciousness, there is no darkness, what we experience as that. There is no lower vibrations. There's simply all these different expressions of source energy. So we live within a permanent paradox, where, like, I'll give you the best example of the paradox is that, when we're on this journey and we wake up and we know we have a mission and we know our soul has a purpose and we see what's going on around us in the world. And so on one end of the spectrum, being here on earth is an extremely sacred and important role. No one who is here on earth who has a soul is allowed to be here who wasn't contracted to, who wasn't the best of the best to be here. They didn't just let anybody come because this is the most important mission. So on the one hand, we have this kind of seriousness of this incarnation of what we came here to do, that we came here with a specific mission. Mom already completed her mission. She already completed the ascension. Now it's just us going through the process of bringing it into fruition, of bringing it into physical manifestation. So there is a seriousness to that in, being committed to our soul path, to our mission, to our dreams, to our vision, and really taking it seriously because we see what's going on in the world around us, and we know that there's an urgency there. There's an urgency, and we don't, and I'll use the word dire because it is dire in a way, right? I mean, we are on the mission to ascend the planet out of darkness that it's been in for a very, very long time. So there is an intensity and an urgency and a seriousness to that, but paradoxically, this is all a fucking joke, right? I mean, it's all a joke because Mom already did it, so we know that inevitably this ascension will occur. And we also know that this is all one big cosmic joke because the dark is an illusion. And it never existed in the first place. And it did. I mean, there was the fall, the fall from grace, and there has been galactic wars and takeovers, and all those things did occur. But knowing in our hearts that the darkness here on earth has always been an illusion. It was the illusion of power by the dark that has actually kept us in this state. So we know that this is all one big joke because we as co-creators of the universe, we are responsible too for this creation of the matrix. Our consciousness was hijacked and used to create this thing. So we are both the co-creators of this illusion, and so simultaneously we're also in it and aware that we're in it and aware that we helped create it and aware that we need to transcend it, but also aware that inevitably it is going to dissolve because it's inevitable, because the energy's already happened. It's a paradox. It's the paradox of fuck it, let it all go. It's all one big joke anyways. This really is not that serious, but then on the same hand it is. And that's honestly with everything on this path. It's all one big fucking paradox. And that's why Mom had always said you have to let go of the mind, because the mind needs to understand everything, and it needs to have everything be a certain way, and it needs to contrast everything and compare everything and analyze everything. But really, it's impossible. You can't analyze consciousness. You can't understand consciousness at play. You just won't. You're along for the ride, and you're surrendering to the ultimate force, which is source. And and we have to surrender to her, because she's the ultimate force of the universe, and ultimately source's will be made manifest. But at the same time, we know that we're co-creating that experience, so we have to make choices, and we have to be a part of the process. We have to participate in the process. So for a lot of you, I think right now, and us, we're all kind of feeling a little bit of this limbo mishmash where everything is just swirling around. There's still a lot of uncertainty, but the energy is moving. We're not sure what direction it's moving. We are, wanting to figure out what path is the best. And I think by reflecting on how we've chosen our past previously and seeing the loops in those paths, we can come to the conclusion that ultimately we can't figure it out. We just fucking can't. And so it's the paradox again of we have to make decisions as co-creators down here. But at the same time, is it even a decision when ultimately all paths lead to the same place? I don't know. And it's one of those things where as you get